Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the All-American Savage Show podcast. I'm your host, John Burke. What's going on, guys? What are you up to, my heterosexual, beautiful, bearded Jewish life partner?
I'm just living the dream, buddy.
Living the dream. I just got to say, I got to start off. A random thought hit me. I'm really glad that we've made it through the men wearing leggings to the gym phase of this country. Just throwing that out there. I know, completely random, but I'm grateful. I'm glad we got through that together, and I'm glad it's over. It was a thing. Oh, it was a thing for a little while. Men thought they could get away with it. It's like, no, just no. Absolutely not. There are some things men should not do, and wearing leggings to the gym is most certainly one of them. You just don't do it.
I wear like sweatshirt.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah. That's different. Give me a radio check on yours.
Check.
I'm gonna turn you up a little bit.
Is that weird?
Yeah, you gotta turn it up. But I'm glad we're over that. It needed to end. It needed to go. But here we are. Well, there's a lot to get to today. As far as what's going on with the bill that has just been proposed, we had 10 GOP senators essentially cross the line, the proverbial party line, and it's not looking good. This is a first step, or I shouldn't say a first step, but this is another step in a very wrong direction. And I've got the list of senators right here, and we're going to get really into this, and we're going to describe about what this bill is proposing. And dude, I'm telling you, this definitely sets a very dangerous precedence, and people, I think, on the left don't realize that, or they just don't care. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com. We got a kind of a change of theme here. If you don't know that we just launched the John Ross merchandise page over on the website, allamericansavageshow.com. You can get the new Lost Savages penis cup with stickers, as people asked. It looks really badass, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty fucking funny. It's the official mug of the All American Savage Show podcast. You can get it at allamericansavageshow.com. You can click the merch option. We have stickers for the podcast. You can get the regular stickers, the black stickers, the white stickers, the All American Savage Show sticker. This is a limited run. We only have a few amount of these, so once they're gone, they're gone. But you can check that out. That is available again at allamericansavageshow.com. So give that a little look-a-roo. And yeah, if you want to support the show, that's one way of doing it. All right, so before we get into the gun control thing, there was a this is a great article. Kamala Harris, apparently, dude, I am so over politicians being viewed as celebrities, as if that, by virtue of running for office and winning, makes you... I just don't get it. But anyway, the DNC is slashing price of Kamala Harris's photo op sparks mockery on Twitter, the one thing that is apparently immune to inflation. So for those that don't know, essentially, Harris was slated to appear at the DNC's Women's Leadership Forum this year as a headliner. I'm really surprised they didn't have it like an abortion clinic or something like that. It's like, we're just going to lead ourselves to murdering babies. The Women's Leadership Forum this year as a headliner with a reported $15,000 price tag for a photo with the vice president. $15,000 to take a photograph with the VP. Are you fucking kidding me?
They must not have been getting very many people to go up there.
Well, they didn't.
To drop the price, right?
Let me finish the article then, because you nailed it right on the head. The event ended up not selling enough tickets and was postponed, along with a 5-figure price tag for donors to have their picture taken with a sitting public servant. Apparently, they lowered it to $5,000. As if that just makes... you know what? We'll let the peasants have access to it. It'll just be $5,000. What?
$20.
You're not even getting that from me.
That's my top number.
You won't even get that from me. $20? Fuck no. I don't know.
It's a hard pass for me, buddy.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The event ended up not selling enough tickets, but however, those who want a picture with Harris at an upcoming DNC fundraiser can now reportedly do so for a fraction of the price. DNC is slashing prices for a photo with Kamala Harris. Tickets for a photo with a VP at the Women's Leadership Forum started at $15,000, but it failed to sell enough tickets and is being postponed. VP's June fundraiser in Cali is charging $5,000 for a photo. At the time of record high inflation with prices soaring across the board, critics had fun with the notion that the only thing that has gotten cheaper during the economic crisis is a photo with the VP. That's about all they're gonna get. Like, really? You'd have to pay me to take a picture with her.
I know. Maybe do like an auction, like the bidding. $20.
I just don't get it. Who would do that?
I don't
Would you?
know. No, I definitely wouldn't. I'm trying to think of who would do it. Like, what Democrats have that much money to go in there? I mean,
she is worthless. She is a worthless politician. She doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
Like, why is she famous? I mean, we all know why. She's like Kim Kardashian, except without the sex tape getting leaked. She blew her way to the top. Then she gets to the top. She polls in like 1% during the DNC primaries. She gets selected to be the VP. Like, this is worthless. Like, she's the VP of affirmative action. And this goes to show why affirmative action and EO is bullshit. Because we got a VP that's fucking worthless. But because she's a female and she's black, well, then throw her in there. Absolutely. Get the fuck out of here with that. That's ridiculous.
You get out of here.
You get out of here.
Pack your bags and get the hell out.
You son of a bitch. All right, so let's get into it. This is the Senate unveils language of gun control deal, expands background checks, and expands prohibited purchases. I haven't read the entire bill. There's a lot of pork in this bill. At the beginning of the bill, there's a lot of Medicare discussions. Now, if those are interested in actually seeing a copy of this bill, here is the link to it in the chat on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. You can look at the bill right there. This is what Cornyn's proposing. Cornyn's definitely freaking taking a lot of heat for this, or he shared this, which I'm pulling it from. So we appreciate people just taking a look at it on their own. Read it for yourself and see for yourself. That way you can't be lied to. You're actually reading the verbiage, because there's already people out there going the wrong way and saying, well, this is what's in the bill. That's not what's in the bill. And it's not like they're trying to freaking, I don't know if they're intentionally trying to get it wrong or mislead or misrepresent, but they kind of are in a sense. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, read the bill for yourself. But we're going to go over some very interesting points to this bill. But first, let's read through this. Senate unveils language of gun control deal, expands background checks, expands prohibited purchasers. The Senate unveiled Tuesday the language of the bipartisan gun control deal. Senator John Cornyn, Republican of Texas, struck with Democrats at Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's behest. Those are two rhinos right now. Mitch McConnell, like, how does he, dude, this guy's 80 years old. He is not the face of the GOP anymore. He needs to go. This guy needs to go.
He does. All of them do, really.
It's ridiculous.
The Grahams, the Romneys, the Cheneys.
Yeah. It's insane. But so right now they're trying to, like, don't get me wrong. It's like, it's a bill riddled with a lot of pork in there. But the thing that scares me, and we'll get to this, is that they're definitely putting a definition on what relationships and romantic relationships entail. They are setting a precedence so that if a red flag law gets enacted or a call gets made, they can use that verbiage as the reasoning why that person who called in can say, okay, they know this person.
Yeah.
They are setting the stage right now. This is the early framework of what's to come. Midterms need to get here now. There has to be a retaking of the Senate and the House, because right now this will continue. This is the building block they're going to utilize. It doesn't stop here. And this is why Democrats can never be trusted. You give them an inch, they will take a mile. But let's continue. NPR reports the gun control expands background checks for gun buyers ages 18 to 20. Now, what this entails essentially is what the bill is saying is it's going to go from a 3-day process to up to a 10-day process. And we're actually going to read parts of the bill so you can actually hear it for yourself. The legislation also expands the prohibited buyers list by adding dating relationships under the domestic violence clause, thus closing the boyfriend loophole Democrats have been arguing against for years. The legislation also contains financial incentives for states that agree to adopt red flag laws. Are you fucking kidding me? The government is now utilizing taxpayer money to solicit states or bribing states into passing these red flag laws or abiding by them. That's not what taxpayer money should be used for. They're essentially trying to offer grants and deals for states that will adopt these policies and enforce them. Representative Matt Gaetz anticipated the financial incentives for red flag laws, telling Breitbart News Saturday the Cornyn gun control package uses federal money to bribe states to enact red. Boom, just said it. I haven't even read the article yet. Just said it. Just fucking said it.
So easy it is.
This is ridiculous. Gaetz then restated it, saying the Cornyn gun control package is literally using the federal government to bribe the states to deprive citizens of their Second Amendment rights. The NRA responded to the gun control by saying it falls short at every level. The NRA is fucking worthless as it is, though. Those guys are just there to like, oh, this is horrible. And what are you doing? They add the legislation could be abused to restrict lawful gun purchases and infringe on the rights of law. Yeah, we all know this. And I'm not trying to dog them for saying that. They're right here. The NRA is 100% right there. The fact that scares me about this is that we've already seen 2 deaths as a result of enforcing these red flag laws. The first one was in Georgia, another one in Maryland. Do y'all remember this was a year or 2 ago? Maybe even further than that. This is back when Crenshaw was in the hot seat for saying he endorsed or we should have a conversation about red flag laws. And the police, there was the elderly black guy, I think it was in Georgia, who his sister had called the police saying this guy was unhinged, yada, yada, yada. And they went and got a court order to go serve him this red flag law to take control of his firearms and wind up killing the guy because he answered the door with his gun. And they basically said, we're here to take your guns. He's like, fuck you are. And they shot him. Ultimately resulting in the death of an innocent man who literally did nothing wrong. There was no evidence. There were no crimes. There was nothing. There was nothing. But because his sister blew the whistle on him, saying he's a danger and a threat to himself, there was no investigation. They literally used this accusation as their evidence to go get a warrant from a judge to take his firearms. This is the most unconstitutional thing I have ever heard. And Trump even got it wrong, too, when he said due process, second, take the guns first. Take the guns first, then due process. No, that's not the way it works. No. And, we've said this repeatedly on the show. It's not the intent of what a bill is that should be looked at. It's the outcome of what that bill will cause. And we've already seen the outcome is innocent people were murdered by the cops. All because it was a he said versus she said. Do you think this isn't going to get sticky? It 100% will. Even domestic violence disputes right now are sticky as fuck. If you listen to the last episode I just did with Dominic Izzo, he goes into very good detail on domestic assault, domestic abuse cases, such as that when police get called and who actually gets arrested and who doesn't. It is a very, very slippery slope. This bill, I mean, if you really think about it, this bill will not stop. It has nothing to do with school shootings. Because here's the beautiful part. No, I shouldn't say beautiful. But the Parkland shooter, 22 times the FBI investigated this kid. 22 times they visited this kid's home and nothing was done. So you tell me. Yeah. You tell me what the purpose of this is. If the intent was because of the Uvalde school shooting, with McConaughey going up there going like, all right, this is crazy. We got to have some common sense, gun reform. All right, shut the fuck up. This is insanity. The NRA noted the bill leaves too much to discretion in the hands of government officials, and they are 100% right. We've had this conversation in regards to, there should be a mental health background check. Well, then who's facilitating this? What if you have a leftist-leaning doctor that can now go after Republicans by denying them their access to the Second Amendment right based upon, mentally being unfit? You're putting a lot of trust in people to not have a political bias. And in this day and age, it's more so than ever before.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. Absolutely not. And if you think this will not be abused by both sides, that you are sadly mistaken. NRA noted this bill leaves too much of the discretion in the hands of government officials and also contains undefined and overboard provisions inviting interference with our constitutional freedoms. They're 100% right. Let's go even further. Senate's bipartisan bill contains gun control that have nothing to do with Uvalde, Buffalo, Parkland, Las Vegas, or Orlando. The Senate's bipartisan gun control bill here's the other thing I just want you to take and keep in mind real quick. In this bill, from what I have read, and I have not read the incomplete thing yet, but what I've read so far, I'm not seeing anything in relation to AR-15s. Now, I could be wrong on that. Chat, you can correct me. Now, there's background checks going from 3 to 10 days for people 18 to 20 that investigates into their juvenile record as well. That's what I'm seeing there. The definition of romantic relationships, Medicare and stuff like that. And also, don't forget, best part here, another $100 million over to the FBI.
Yeah, let me ask
to give themselves raises. Pat on the back for them.
Should government officials, I don't know, like Eric Swalwell, who's had an intimate relationship with a Chinese spy, be able to carry a weapon?
If it can be proven that he did so fully knowing that she was a Chinese spy and did it anyway, he should be tried for treason. 100%. If it was a fuck up, which I actually think, I don't like that. Trust me, dude. You know me. I fucking hate that piece of shit. I hate that. If I see him, I want to punch him in the face. Yeah. But, yes, he should have access to a firearm. I mean, he of all people really needs it if you think about it, because there's a lot of people that would love to see that guy dead, myself included. I'm not calling for violence. I am not calling for violence. I'm just saying, if COVID took him out, I wouldn't be crying.
I mean, I think it's
him or Hillary.
People like that, Feinstein, who've already been compromised.
Yeah.
then you shouldn't be in government at all.
I agree. And the fact that I don't know if I think he still sits on the Intelligence Committee.
Yeah, that's
insane to me. You had a dude that was banging a Chinese spy that still sits.
Yeah.
Dude, this is how incompetent our government is. This is how incompetent our sitting politicians are.
It's one-sided.
It's very one-sided. The Senate's bipartisan gun control bill contains heightened penalties for firearms trafficking and straw purchases, although trafficked or straw purchased firearms were not used in Uvalde. Uvalde, he got that firearm legally at 18 years of age. He went through the background check. Nothing on his record. He got it. Mm-hmm. So you tell me how you're going to stop that from happening. The only way to stop it, you can't prevent the purchase. It was done legally. You can't prevent the sale. That was done legally. All you can do is prevent the altercation from occurring by arming people at the schools. Again, when liberals like Schumer want to say we don't need more guns in our schools, well, then you tell me why you surrounded the Capitol with them. You tell me why your security is armed. You tell me why there's armed security at banks, but not our schools? Because in their mind, they feel like we should live in a gun-free society. That is not a pragmatic train of thought. It does not work that way. We have over 360 million registered guns in this country. No, I shouldn't say registered, but guns in this country.
Yeah.
There is no pragmatic approach to view any part of our society as being a gun-free zone. That is impossible. The only reason you put those signs there are for prosecution when you go after somebody that violates that law. Fair enough. But to sit there and think that that law is going to prevent these active shootings from occurring is foolish.
Yeah.
Schumer and the rest of these people that sat there and told the Republicans that we are not going to put armed guards in our school, that blood is on your hands. You do not get to sit there and turn around and go after the right and saying you're doing nothing. That is bullshit. That is not true. That is not true. They are trying to do something. You are preventing it from happening because the sight of a gun scares you. Sections 932 and 033 contain the heightened straw purchase and gun trafficking penalties. The straw purchase section 932 says, it shall be unlawful for any person to knowingly purchase or conspire to purchase any firearm in or otherwise affecting interstate or foreign commerce for, on behalf of, or at the request or demand of any other person, knowing or having possible cause to believe that such other person is prohibited from making the purchase themselves. Straw purchases were banned long before the Senate's bipartisan agreement was announced. The ATF Form 4473, the paper portion of the firearm purchase background check, uses question 1 to make clear the straw purchases are allowable. Question 1, form on 4473, asks, are you the actual transferee buyer of the firearm listed on this form and any Constitution sheets? ATF Form 5, Jesus Christ, that's the Second Amendment right there. When they say we need more, we already have this shit. We have over 23,000 registered gun laws on the books, and you're saying we need more? If the laws worked, we would not have 23,000 fucking gun laws on the books.
I know.
Or have to add more.
I think you could say it enough that criminals don't follow laws.
No, they don't. And that's the stupid part about it. They are sitting there demonizing law-abiding citizens on this. It's the legal, law-abiding citizens that are going to be punished for this. This is a form of mass punishment, and that does not work.
I feel like that's what the Democrats have been doing ever since Trump got elected.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. They've really been sticking it to the public.
Oh,
everybody rallied against the establishment.
It's insane.
It really is.
It's insane.
It's like they started rioting, they started doing all this shit, and it's really pushing back on us.
Now they're trying to disarm us. So the very same police they're accusing of not going in there and protecting the students in Uvalde, now they're saying, well, you as civilians shouldn't have access to these weapons either. You fucking kidding me? This makes no sense. You're stripping away the rights of one group of people.
Yeah.
Like all the Democrats and a lot of conservatives out there saying, hey, cops aren't there to protect you. Fine. Then enhance the Second Amendment so you can protect yourself. Yeah. That's part of it.
No, I agree. If someone kicks in my door,
they're going down.
Yeah. How long is it going to take for the police to get there? After everything's done?
Yeah, exactly. You're already dead. Yeah. Raped, shit's robbed. Yeah. Doesn't matter. They're gone.
Right.
You have to defend yourself. And, it was funny because I saw on Twitter this guy, this troll over on that John Cornyn Twitter page, which he's getting ratioed hard right now. He's done in the GOP. After this, he's done.
Yeah.
But I think he's not up for re-election for another 3 or 4 years. This dude is a complete backstabber. Mitch McConnell. Actually, you know what? Let me read you the list of the senators that voted in favor of this so you guys are aware. And before anybody even asks, no, Crenshaw's not on the list. He didn't vote in favor. I know that upset a lot of people because they expected him to because they hate Crenshaw, but it's hate him for what he says, not what he doesn't, which I don't agree with him on his red flag law stances anyway, but he didn't vote in favor, which I am surprised. The 10 GOP senators who signed onto the gun control deal that included funding for red flag laws are as follows: Blunt, Burr, Portman, Tommy, Cornyn, Tillis, Cassidy, Collins, Graham, Lindsey Graham, Mitt Romney, and Republicans who just joined to advance it: Murkowski, Capito, Ernst, McConnell, and Young. Now, here's a funny thing about this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do a little social experiment with you right now while you guys are watching this live. I'm going to head over. Let's go to Fox News. Where is this covered? Where is this covered? Where is Fox News blasting Graham? Where is Sean Hannity? You know Tucker's going to go after him. Where are these prominent figures? I'm looking at their main page right here. This isn't even a main page article. The main page article on Fox News is Biden causes alarm with cryptic warning about need to get ready for second pandemic. Then serious injury about a senator might need amputation. Iran threatens possible assassination. Feds indict former Democratic mayor on 21 charges of wire fraud. Former beauty queen dead at 27 after a common surgical procedure. Why isn't Fox covering this? Why isn't this not headline news? Has Hannity tweeted about this yet? Has any prominent right-leaning political figurehead in the MSM, have they said anything about this? Because I'm not seeing anything. That tells you a lot. The silence tells you a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Lindsey Graham. This guy is the biggest fence rider. Piece of shit.
He's just a typical scumbag politician.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
100%.
I mean, he's never been for the people. He's for himself. He's about staying in power.
Mm-hmm.
All that shit.
I wish this guy would be at least consistent in his beliefs. You're either pro 2A or you are not. You don't get to say, I'm a gun owner, I'm pro 2A, but. No, there is no but. You either are or you are not. The trafficking section 933 of the Senate gun control deal is much the same in that it presents a penalty for selling guns to individuals who are otherwise barred from having them. Breitbart News has long kept a running tally of the high-profile mass shootings of the last 15 years, and every attacker but 3 got his guns via a background check. You know what was the most? I think it still is. The most deadly school shooting was Virginia Tech. I believe that was it. And it was from an Asian kid with 2 pistols. Mm-hmm. I think he killed upwards of like 30-something people. Let me pull these stats real quick. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to see right here real quick. Oh, wow. They buried this. They buried this. You don't see. Oh, it helps if I probably. Virginia Tech school shooting stats.
Are you using Google?
Yep. Or no, this is MSN, or this is Bing. Let's see right here. Okay. 92. He'd say he was born in South Korea in 1984. He killed 32 people. 32 people. Joe picks up a Walther P22 pistol he purchased online on February 2nd from an out-of-state dealer at J&D Pawn Shop in Blacksburg across the street, Virginia Tech. But I'm still guessing he probably passed the background check.
Yeah.
So you're not going to stop that. 32 people shot, killed.
I just don't think that you're going to stop somebody who is a psychopath and wants to kill people. They're going to either get a gun, they'll get a knife, they'll use their car.
Oh, they're going to figure out a way,
They'll figure out a way to kill somebody.
Well, absolutely.
I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, the only thing that we can do as citizens is arm ourselves.
Arm ourselves, 100%.
To be able to defend ourselves.
Yeah, 100%.
Otherwise, you're just...
But the government wants us more reliant upon their agencies.
Right.
And state agencies.
They'll never show up.
No.
Look at the FBI.
Yeah.
The FBI is a complete failure.
Yeah.
You know, the police, there's only so many of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we even talked about earlier in the other podcast, with over 750,000 officers, to include the feds, and over 350 million guns, the act of gun confiscation is not even pragmatic. It's not even possible.
It's not even,
it's not even possible.
It shouldn't be even conversation.
It's ridiculous. Okay, real quick again. Breitbart News has long kept a running tally of the high-profile mass shootings of the last 15 years, and every attacker but 3 got his guns via background check. 2 of the 3 who avoided background checks, the Clackamas Town Center attacker, December 11, 2012, and the Sandy Hook attacker, December 14, 2012, who, by the way, No, we won't get into it. Stole their guns, so no amount of point-of-sale gun controls would have stopped them. It's almost, again, as if criminals will not obey the laws and still do it.
No, you see it every weekend in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Well, Izzo had just said in the last podcast they're about to hit 300 homicides from gun-related deaths in Chicago for the year.
There's like 6 cities that are like Democratic-run cities that the crime is just violent crime.
Yeah, is
skyrocketing.
It's just nuts.
Already passing 2021.
Yeah, but the press isn't going to report that. They're not going to talk about that.
No.
Why? Because as long as it's little kids, then we can talk about that. But if it's adults, especially if it's black adults, if it's black on black violence, well, then we're not going to talk about that. Because again, if they did, it would force them to start having conversations about handguns.
Yeah.
Apart from those exceptions, high-profile mass shooters of the last 15 years acquired their guns themselves at retail by complying with background checks. This is the other thing they keep calling for. We need more background checks. We already have universal background checks. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What they're going to eventually start calling for is having mental health background checks. No. A background check in and of itself is an infringement. Show me in the Constitution where it says that. Heightened straw purchase rules or more anti-trafficking laws would not have prevented their attacks. This is what Democrats do. They address everything except the problem itself. And it's a smart tactic they use on this. I won't even lie. Let's start saying, you know what? To combat this Uvalde thing, what we're going to do is we're going to infringe on these other issues that don't even apply to it.
Yeah. And then they'll put together a stimulus bill.
There it is.
And then all of a sudden, people are getting paid.
Mm-hmm. And then slowly but surely, because they're not going to directly go after the guns. They won't do it. They know they will not win on that. Instead, they see how much they can. It's kind of like the waves hitting the shore. How much further up the shore can we go with these infringements? Just a little bit more, a little bit more. Let's see just how far we can go. Because before, it was bump stocks, suppressors, body armor. All these things they wanted to go after over and over and over and over again. Bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit.
These gun-grabbing liberals, they'll use the argument, if it could just save one life, then yes.
I don't give a
it's
fuck.
worth it.
Yeah.
Yes, and then you ask them about a border wall, and then they're like, well, that wall's not going to stop anybody.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing. It's kind of funny you say that. If it saves one life, well, saves in which capacity?
Yeah.
The banning of or the utilizing them effectively to save lives, which you don't report those stats, do you, MSM? You don't talk about that. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it doesn't make news. Nobody gives a shit. It's only when somebody gets murdered. It's never when somebody's life gets saved at the hands of a gun. This is what the MSM does. This is what they perpetrate intentionally. Let's focus on the negative aspects of guns in our society versus the positive. Let's see how many rapes are thwarted, or robberies thwarted, potential murders thwarted. Why don't we talk about that? I mean, that's kind of funny to me. Where are those stats?
They don't, that just doesn't happen. You're not going to have that reasonable conversation with.
Hell no.
With these douchebags.
Now, here's where it gets slimy. Senate gun control deal applies domestic violence statutes, gun bans to dating relationships. Now, remember earlier when I said they're putting a very finite definition on this, and there's a reason for that. Section 12005 of the Senate gun control deal expands traditional domestic violence protections from spouse and ex-spouses to dating relationships. This is the list of prohibited purchasers in the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, NICS, will include certain boyfriends and girlfriends should the Senate gun control deal become law. The bill says the term dating relationship means a relationship between two individuals who have or have recently had a continuing serious relationship or a romantic in intimate nature. There is so much subjectivity. Is that a word? Subjectivity?
Sure.
Fuck it, it is now. There is so much open to interpretation in this statement alone. The term dating relationship means a relationship between two individuals who have recently had a continuing serious. Okay, recently. What's the term for recently? I need specific dates. Mm-hmm. When you want to enforce a law, you need to make it black and white, left and right bookends, and you got to say, this is the statute of limitations. There's nothing in there. Recently had a continuing serious relationship. Serious relationship according to who? Josh and I have been fucking for over 5 years. I don't consider it a serious relationship. He does. He always catches feels.
It's tough looking into those beautiful blue eyes of yours.
You sexy son of a bitch. But you see where I'm going with this. So easily I could say I'm in a relationship with Josh because we have a photo on Instagram from like a week ago when in reality it's like, yeah, I stuck my dick in her and she was fucking crazy. What are cops supposed to believe? That's literally believe all the whammons. That's crazy to me. continuing a serious relationship or romantic or intimate in nature. The legislation indicates the length of the relationship, the nature of the relationship, and the frequency type of the interaction between individuals involved in the relationship all play a role in determining if the relationship is, in fact, a dating relationship. Once again, the government coming in there and trying to put definitions on things so they can utilize those and weaponize those against enforcing these unconstitutional red flag laws. The legislation does not indicate who will decide which relationships qualify as a dating relationship. Damn, haven't even read the article. Didn't even read this article. Already said you're calling it. Anybody with a common sense approach to gun grabbing, gun reform can sit there and nitpick these things verbatim and say, what is the definition of that? Mm-hmm. And this stems from the same based perception, I shouldn't say based, idiotic perception of the left of, well, that's hate speech. What constitutes hate speech? What is hate speech? Well, saying something hateful. Islam says some hateful things. Christianity has some hateful things. It's always things that you disagree with that are considered hateful. What makes you the arbiter and definer of what constitutes hatred and what does not? Hatred could be, like as humor, subjective. Mm-hmm. So then who's the moral compass and guide? Well, that's the First Amendment. That's free speech. But this is how they think. Because such ambiguities, the NRA noted this bill leaves too much discretion in the hands of the government officials and also contains undefined and overboard provisions inviting interference with our constitutional freedoms. They're 100% right there. They're 100% right there. And here's the other thing to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen. If they will eventually push for mental health stuff. I'm telling you right now, that is the next step. They will go for mental health. And the first ones that are going to be on the chopping block are going to be the veterans. Why? Why do you think it's going to be the veterans? And then you wonder why cops, veterans, public servants don't want to come forward with their admissions of PTSD. Because if they do, it can get them disqualified from being able to purchase and own a firearm. I have PTSD, was diagnosed. My guns haven't shot anybody. I talk some shit online. I say some very inflammatory things from time to time. Mm-hmm. But does that mean I shouldn't be qualified to own a firearm to protect myself? Interesting. The first ones are going to go to disarm the veterans and the cops, retired cops. It's ridiculous.
It's a long game for them.
It is 100% a long game. And bit by bit,
keep chipping away.
These Republican fucking senators are some traitors. Fucking traitors. Senate bipartisan gun control bill expands background check review from 3 to 10 business days. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can read the bill here. I've got it pulled up. You can read this bill here. We're kind of going over the Cliff Notes version of it for you here. There's the link right there. You can read this bill for yourself. It's roughly 80 pages in length. The first portion of this bill covers Medicaid, mental health services such as that. I'm not against that. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole because I just don't like the idea of federal money, taxpayer money being thrown at all these programs and there's no oversight. But at the same token, I get it. And also don't forget the part in there that the FBI gets another $100 million raise. Absolutely. That's great. That's just fucking wonderful. But I think it's around pages 30 or 50 that you can start getting into the meat and potatoes of this bill. But there you have it. There's the bill right there if you want to actually read it for yourself. All right, let's keep going. The language, the Senate gun control deal, was revealed on Tuesday and expands background checks for persons 18 to 20 years of age by changing the review period for their background check from a set period of 3 business days to a possible 10 business days. The bill says that if a federal firearms license holder, FFL, contains the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, NICS, for a background check on a person under the age of 21, the criminal history repository of Juvenile Justice Information System of the state in which the person resides is to be contacted. Moreover, the appropriate state custodian... So here's the other thing. So if a kid does something when they're under the age of 18, that's now going to carry over to when they're an adult to whether they can purchase a firearm or not? You're conflating a lot of different laws here now. Because I thought it was my impression that when you're tried as a child, it remains as a child. And when you turn 18, that wasn't you being tried as an adult. Correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'm not a lawyer. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like we are trying to twist the law. You're trying to twist the law to meet your individual narrative needs. Moreover, the appropriate state custodial mental health educated records in the state in which a person resides is to be contacted. Okay, you see that? I do. Moreover, the appropriate state custodian mental health adjudication. I can never fucking say this word. Adjudication. I'm fucking done. Whatever. It's that same as the damn. Oh God. Fuck me running. I can't say that's like anonymous and anonymity. And fuck this one.
That's right, John. You got it. Keep going.
Keep going. You're almost there.
It's adjudication.
Adjudication.
Just say it. Let's move on.
Moreover, the appropriate state custodian mental health
adjudicated.
Thank you. Records in the state in which the person resides is to be contacted. This is where it leads into. Now it's a mental health issue. This is dangerous, slippery slope ground here. Because right now, it's between ages of 18 to 20. All they're going to do is another active shooting is going to happen somewhere else with somebody of a higher age. Las Vegas shooting, the guy was what, 63, 64? Mm-hmm. He was up there.
Yeah.
How many shootings happen in Chicago and New York?
A lot.
This is where they lay the framework. 18 to 20, they're already squeezing this in there. Based upon the narrative they've been pushing for the last few months. What business does an 18-year-old sound like have with, own a weapon of war? What constitutes a weapon of war? I carried a knife in combat. Does that make my freaking my K-bar in there a weapon of war? I carried a 9mm Beretta. Does that make it a weapon of war? I carried an MRE spoon. I mean, I never used it, but is that a weapon of war? This is what people do by making these very generic statements without actually having definitive definitions. They intentionally leave it open to interpretation, so they can essentially and then use this as a club whenever they feel it's fitting. This is what liberals do repeatedly. Ghost gun, clip. Nobody should own a 30-round clip. What's a clip? A clip is what's on a stripper clip, like in an M1 Garand. That's a clip. That's not a magazine. These same people that want to sit there and lecture you on what guns are good and bad for don't even know the model and nomenclatures of the items that they're talking about. What the fuck is a ghost gun? That's crazy to me.
I know. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
These fucking idiots.
So, they think the population is stupid.
They do. Well, here's the thing. A lot of them are.
Yeah, I'd say
a lot of them are.
Not all. I mean,
well, not all of them. No, but a lot of people are. They will take this like they'll take it.
That's why I think, the past, 10, 12 years, you've really seen people's eyes open up to what is going on.
Yeah.
Especially now that they got Biden back into the White House, because now they could really push the accelerator and try to get some of these things that they thought, we could drip into the public over time.
Yeah.
But, now they're running out of time, so they got to.
I'm telling you right now, look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Josh knows this about me. Watch for more shootings to happen right before midterms so they can try and force through a little bit more of this bullshit.
It's like, it's...
Because here's the thing. This is the one thing. Remember this right now, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this right now. Because when the House goes back, when the Senate goes back, and eventually in 2024, when the executive branch goes back, this shit needs to be repealed. And they won't do it. Because the GOP is spineless. Not all of them. But I have never in my life 10 senators crossing the aisle to infringe on gun rights. Also, a local law enforcement agency of the jurisdiction in which the person resides is to be contacted for purposes of determining whether the person has a possibly disqualifying juvenile record under subsection. Wow. That's ridiculous. Well, all these numbers, points for data are, and that's the thing, like what constitutes not being able to own a firearm based upon the actions of when you were a child? The guy spray painted a fucking building. He can't own a firearm. Like what constitutes not being able to own a firearm?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. There's a lot of just subjectivity throughout this whole thing. While all these numerous points for data are being contacted, the new Senate gun control bill allows the FBI. Oh, here we go. We're getting the FBI involved now. Rest easy, folks. While all these numerous points for data are being contacted, the new Senate gun control bill allows the FBI background checks review period to be expanded from the current 3 business days to no more than 10 business days after the FFL contacts the system. This means a background check that begins with an FFL contacting the NC, and this FFL is the cell, contacting NICS on a Monday could last all 5 business days of that week, plus Saturday and Sunday, and then the 5 business days of the following week, a minimum of 12 days total. Jesus. Senator John Cornyn booed at Texas Republican Party convention. This guy gets up there. Republican Senator John Cornyn out of Texas was booed at his home state's annual Republican Party convention on Friday over his work with Democrats to achieve bipartisan gun control. McConnell wanted him to. McConnell is a turncoat. He's a fucking traitor. This guy is a boomer. He needs to go away. These boomer fucking senators, I have to agree with the press on the left that is talking about the same thing about the Joe Biden administration. The boomers need to go. You need to step down. You have fucked it up enough. Your generation has fucked up so much shit. Get the fuck out of the way and let the new generation take over. Now, I'm not saying that in the sense of, oh, the leftist Democrats could be so much better, but at least the right-leaning ones have more fucking common sense and at least have balls. They have fucking balls. You GOP rhino sellout fucks, you lack the testicular fortitude to stand up in the face and call these fuckers cowards and liars. Well, sounds like Texas Republicans aren't a fan of Cornyn's anti-2A bill. One Twitter user said entire convention center just erupted in boos when Cornyn took the stage. You can actually see this guy right here in this Twitter thing, Zachary Henry at ZHENRYAZ, tweeted this out, and you can clearly see in the video, he takes the stage and instantly met with all kinds of boos to the point where he can't even talk. Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell tapped Cornyn to work with Senate Democrats to achieve bipartisan gun control in the aftermath of the Uvalde school. Here is what they are thinking in their minds. This is where Crenshaw got it wrong. This is where McConnell consistently gets it wrong. You simply think by throwing them a few crumbs of gun control, you are going to appease the left. You will never appease liberals. When will you GOP morons get this through your thick skulls? You will never appease them. They will keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. And look what they're trying to enforce, the wrong things. Even though it's all wrong, the fact that they're trying to fix this, they're doing it the wrong way. Nothing in this bill would prevent Uvalde. Nothing. Let's say they enact it right now. Okay, that 18-year-old had to wait an extra 10 days.
Yeah.
Nothing on his record. He still gets the AR-15. What happens? Or he can't get an AR-15. He has to wait. Okay, he waits till he's 21. You think that's going to stop him? Or he just takes his car and goes and runs people over. Yeah. Or, other thing, he steals a gun. Oh, it happens. It happens.
That was Sandy Hook, right?
There you go.
That kid went and stole his mom's gun, killed her, then went on a killing spree.
So all of these laws they're proposing, these new Second Amendment infringements, are bullshit. Republican Senate leader Mitch McConnell tapped Cornyn to work with the Senate Democrats to achieve bipartisan gun control in the aftermath of the Uvalde school shooting. However, conservatives have been frustrated with Cornyn's efforts after reports that the gun control legislation would incentivize states to enact red flag laws. The gubernatorial candidate out of Arizona, I forget her name, she's drawn a lot of freaking traction. Like, she's out there. She already said, if I'm elected governor, we won't enforce these red flag laws. It's not going to happen. There you go. State versus federal rights. Yeah. Feds can say whatever the fuck they want. States say, no, go fuck yourself. Not going to happen. I'm pretty sure that Beto or Abbott ain't going to do it. If he does, he's done. Yeah. Like, they need to start pressing Abbott on this right now. Republicans need to start hitting it at Abbott right now. Like, where do you stand? Where do you stand on this? Get this guy to say it. Get this guy to say it. Now, I know that doesn't mean a lot in the grand scheme of things, but at least get this guy to approach and say, Abbott, where do you stand on these proposed red flag laws, and will you enforce them in the state of Texas? Yeah. That needs to be a mainstream question.
I just don't see it happening here because you can, conceal carry without a permit now.
I don't know. Yeah, we are constitutional carry, but at the same token, Abbott raised the freaking smoking age to 21. I don't know. In this day and age, when you've got 10 senators that cross the line, I don't know. And that's why I don't trust politicians.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like trying to raise the age of smoking. Mm-hmm. All right.
No, I think it's bullshit.
If you have to be 21 to drink, maybe you have to be 21 to smoke. I mean, because smoking's not great, right?
And vote.
But raise everything to 21.
It's not a matter of if the thing is good or bad. It's a matter of having access to that freedom, having access to that choice constitutes being an adult or a child. That's what it really comes down to. Are you an adult or are you a child in the eyes of the state?
Right.
If that age is 18 that you were tried as an adult, which you are, then everything should be around the nucleus of being 18, not 21. Cool. You want to raise the age of smoking, drinking, driving, and voting and firearm purchase to 21? At least be consistent with that. Yeah. At least be consistent with that. But they're not, because now in Texas, 18 to freaking to drive, or 16 with a parent's freaking thing. Mm-hmm. You can be 16 with a permit. 18 to do, well, you can still buy a firearm, but 21 to smoke? What sense does that make?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
I would be in favor for raising the age for everything to 21.
Voting?
Going into the military, voting, smoking,
starve the military industrial complex. I tweeted that out a few days ago. I was like, look, if you want to raise the age of voting, or you want to raise the age of like firearm purchasing to 21, age of enlisting in the military, starve the military industrial complex of the young impressionable youth. Even though at 21 you're still young and stupid. Right. But still, I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point.
I mean,
Get the recruiters out of the high schools. Get the recruiters out of the high schools, put them in college campuses, and see how well it is.
Yeah, I mean, give these kids a couple of years to think about whether or not they want to make that type of decision that young. I mean, because that's a big decision, going into the military.
Yeah, I guess. It is, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
once you've done it, you're kind of like, that's whatever. But yeah, you're right. Looking at it with fresh eyes, it was a big decision.
How old were you when you went into combat?
18.
Yeah.
No.
That's young.
Yeah, but I liked it. No, you're right. You're right. You're 100% right.
So I think giving kids
but here's the crazy thing.
The more I think, I've never really thought about it before, but now that we're talking about it, I think getting the military out of the schools is one thing. You know, maybe if they just did like military college and they went to college and then from there they transition into the.
Well, they do have that in the GROTC programs and stuff like that, but that ends in school, so that doesn't really. I don't know if they have that in college or not. I'm not sure, but I see your point there. Like, okay, pull the military-industrial complex out of the schools. Yeah. Make them go to the colleges and shit like that. You're going to see the recruitment numbers plummet. There's just a lot of back and forth on this as far as the inconsistencies in the application of law. It doesn't make sense to me. These red flag laws would allow law enforcement authorities to confiscate guns from individuals who are deemed an immediate threat to others after receiving reports about an individual. This is bullshit. Oh, excuse me, JROTC versus ROTC. Okay, ROTC is college and JROTC is high school. Fair enough. I never did any of that, so I don't know. We just made fun of them. I'm not talking down about it. It's good for people. But apparently JROTC is in high school and then ROTC is in college. So they do have those programs so where you can go straight from that into the military. But again, these red flag laws will allow law enforcement authorities to confiscate guns from individuals who are deemed an immediate threat to others after receiving reports about an individual. This has already been put into practice. Innocent people have already been killed as a result of this. This is not good. What gives the authority? I can tell you right now, I've had liberal cops on my timeline talking about they cannot wait to enforce this because they are anti-2A people. Cops are already on board for this. Oh, Jesus. The bootlicker John Burke, who sat there and said, I want due process for Uvalde, is now turning around and saying, hey, yeah, there are crooked cops out there that are anti-constitutionalist. Now you don't know what to say about me, do you? And the same people that want to come at me on social media saying, oh, he's a fucking bootlicker. You don't say anything when I say shit like this. Your selective hearing is very fucking loud to me. I'm waiting for that. John supports the blue blindly. No, the fuck I used to. Not the fuck anymore for a very long time. But you're not going to say anything about that statement that I've just made. You won't bring that up. Shit's annoying. However, Corn has come out against these incentives for red flag laws after receiving backlash from conservatives. And too late, dude. Too late. You knew. You fucking knew. You fucking knew. You knew better. One of the two biggest issues in the GOP for any potential congressman that you're going to be running on, you're going to have to answer. We already know the first one. It's the Second Amendment. What's the second one, do you think? Two biggest issues.
What?
That determine conservative versus Democrat.
Money?
Not really.
Just tell me.
Abortion. I really feel like those are there we go. Disgruntled game already got it. The two focal points I really feel are the Second Amendment and abortion. However, Corn came out against these incentives for red flag laws after receiving backlash from conservatives nationwide. The existence or lack of a red flag law should not impact any state's ability to receive funds for crisis intervention, Corn said in a statement on Tuesday. Shut the fuck up. All you're trying to do is backpedal now and do damage control.
Yeah.
The Texas senator said that if the states want to implement such laws, they should not be able to do so unless their red flag law contains a full set of due process and Bill of Rights protections in the Constitution. What? What? That doesn't even make any sense.
Hey, guys, before you enact these anti-constitutional laws, you should make sure that there's constitutional protection in the laws.
What?
Huh?
Hey, guys, before you go out there and endorse rape, we have to first make sure that we understand that rape is bad. But then you can endorse it.
What the fuck are you talking about? A Texas senator said, blah, blah, blah. Despite Cornyn's attempt to clarify his work with Democrats on gun control legislation, the Texas GOP convention crowd still booed him before, during, and after as his speech ended. You really thought you could just show up here negotiating to infringe on our 2A and we'd be okay with that? Nope, one Twitter wrote. This dude just gets booed like crazy and justifiable. I'm surprised they didn't throw rotten fucking tomatoes at this cocksucker. Jesus, like tar and feather this piece of shit. The crowd on Friday reportedly chanted no red flags and say no to Cornyn while he was speaking. When Cornyn talks about electing new leadership, folks scream like Cornyn, NPR's Sergio Martinez Beltran tweeted. Sergio Martinez Beltran tweeted, Cornyn says what's on the table in terms of gun-related negotiations in Congress, more mental health resources, more support for our school, and making sure the violent criminals and the mentally ill cannot buy a firearm. As Cornyn talks, folks are rowdy, chanting no red flags and say no to Cornyn. When Cornyn talks about electing new leadership, folks scream like Cornyn. U.S. Senator John Cornyn gets viciously booed. This is just more Twitter takes of him just basically getting booed off stage, saying we don't want to hear you. Cornyn was apparently unfazed by the crowd's boos, according to a tweet he shared on his account. After Senator John Cornyn was met with him, yeah. It's ridiculous. Senate gun control deal uses burn grants to incentivize states to adopt red flag laws. The Senate gun control legislation introduced Tuesday uses burn grants as incentives for the adoption of red flag laws. Section 12003 is titled Use of Burn Grants for Implementation of State Crisis Intervention Programs. I wonder what these programs consist of. The funds are to be used to create mental health courts, drug courts, veterans courts, and establish extreme risk protection orders, aka red flag laws. Mental health courts?
And the people's courts. Yeah, I guarantee you.
This is ridiculous.
Where it says he seemed unfazed. I bet behind closed doors that guy's shitting his pants.
They should be.
Yeah, he should be.
That guy's public enemy number one in the GOP.
Yep.
I mean, he should have been like, hey, Crenshaw, what do you think about the Crenshaw? Like, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He's never going to live this down. Now, I do got to admit, Crenshaw didn't vote in favor of this.
Yeah, I think Crenshaw will start to circle back around.
I don't know, because he's still going. He saw the immediate blowback of his red flag where he talked about we need to have a conversation about this. No, you don't. You can't. This is why.
Yeah.
This is exactly why. You do not have conversations with liberals on gun control. You don't.
That's the problem.
That's
you
the
can't
problem.
have a conversation because once you have a conversation, next thing you know, you're like,
when are they ever giving us anything? When are we able to actually try what we want to try as far? Let's put armed officers in those schools.
Never.
Because these shooting situations were not prevalent back during the earliest fucking 20th century. They weren't. When you talk about a mental health crisis, we have parents that are shit parents, and the cops are raising your children.
Yeah.
Shit fucking parenting.
There it is. There it is right there.
We're not going to blame that, though, because that means people that are like, in charge of these little shitheads that run amok and do this, your parenting probably sucked ass.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. There we go. The funds to be used. Okay, on June 20th, 2022, the day before the Senate gun control language was revealed, Mark W. Smith used a Breitbart column to say that Republicans were busy betraying their base while simultaneously shooting themselves in the foot. Smith wrote, Republicans are doing it by embracing so-called red flag laws, which is a euphemism for the creation of separate legal systems designed to target a single class of Americans, gun owners, and exact a severe penalty on gun confiscation. He also opined Republicans have somehow concluded that targeting their political base, gun owners, by depriving those Americans of their fundamental constitutional right to keep and bear arms, the Supreme Court's words, not mine, is constitutional. Good public policy and smart politics. These Republicans are wrong on all counts. The gun control deal that Senator John Cornyn worked on side by side with Senator Chris Murphy used federal funds, aka taxpayer money, to convince states to adopt the very laws Smith criticized. Cornyn also tweeted out, I think it was like not even that long ago, when somebody talked about anti-2A laws, he said never going to happen. This guy is a fucking liar. This is political corruption. When God Emperor Mitch McConnell turns around and taps somebody, you're going to, goose step all the way over to him and say, yes, absolutely. Otherwise, your career is over. That's all this is. That's all this is. The only reason a sitting fucking elected representative would turn tail on their demographic, on their constituency base, on their voter base, is because somebody in the system has something over them. And they're doing it because that's all they fucking care about. Fuck the representation of the people. Yeah. Do you really think if Corn went back to his base, his voter base, and said, what do y'all think? What do you think the answer to that would be?
Probably be a giant middle finger.
Fuck to the no. But instead, this piece of shit kowtows to Mitch McConnell, who taps him and says, you're going to do this. Fuck Mitch McConnell. And fuck every one of these elected representatives. These pieces of shit should be strung up. Fucking traitors. Fucking traitors. Despite red flag laws and all the other controls, California is also number one for active shooter incidents. Huh. Weird.
I didn't see that coming at all.
Not at all. You gotta love that. Well, there you have it. Once again, for those that want to read the full bill, this is just a little synopsis of it. I mean, we went in depth in some areas, but here's the full bill. Read it for yourself. You can go check the verbiage. Again, like the first 20 or 30 pages are all about mental health, Medicaid, shit like that. There's the FBI thing in there. And then I think it's between pages of 30 and 50. I could be wrong on that. That goes more in depth than I was reading it this morning in the gym. It's very difficult to do while listening to Justin Bieber, by the way. So, there we go.
What's your favorite Bieber song?
The one where he's paralyzed and can't sing. CNN had that was horrible, but I don't fucking care. Vax me harder, daddy. CNN has worst weekend since 2000 among critical demographic as viewers flee network. Americans largely avoided CNN during Father's Day weekend as the network continued to hemorrhage support from the demographic most coveted by advertisers. CNN managed only 67,000 average viewers between the ages of 25 and 54 from June 18th to 19th for its smallest weekend audience since 2000 in the category that pays the bills. It was the network's third worst performance in the critical demo during a weekend since 1993.
God.
Damn. Wait a minute. United We Stand said Republicans voting in bipartisan. Blunt, Burr. Hold on. Did more get added? You count 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me check that. Hold on. I don't want to get that wrong.
12.
Let me see here. What we got? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 10 initials that voted for, and then those that came out after were Murkowski, Capito, Ernst, McConnell, and Young. So yeah, you're right. It's just that the first that favored, that were in favor of this were Blunt, Burr, Portman, Romney, Corrin, Tillis, Cassidy, Collins, Graham, and Romney. And then Republicans who joined in later to advance it were Murkowski, Capito, Ernst, McConnell, and Young. So that changed it right there. So yeah, you're right. All right, so it was also the network's smallest audience on a Saturday among the demos since October 93 when only 58,000 tuned in. Dude, that is bad.
Mm-hmm.
That is bad. They are just hemorrhaging money.
They're terrible.
But I'm telling you, if they turn it around, if they go mainstream freaking down the center, which I don't know if that's possible because now that I think about it, you've already kind of shot yourself in the proverbial foot enough.
I think these douchebags are so arrogant that they're going to say the problem's not with us, the problem's with the audience.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The same thing that these Democratic politicians do.
Absolutely.
And most of the Republican politicians do.
Yeah. Republican bill would allow adults to sue doctors for youth sex transition. Republican lawmakers introduced a bill Wednesday which would allow adults to sue doctors who perform sex change procedures on them as minors. Why are Republicans doing this? You know this isn't going to fly. You know the Democrats are going to squish. They won't even make it to the floor. Like, this is just... I'm just like, why aren't you saving this for midterms, for after midterms? You're not going to do anything.
I know.
You're not going to do anything. This isn't going to go anywhere. I don't know. That's funny to me. I love this Matthew Tuttle idiot on my YouTube says, how's your buddy Eye Patch McCain going to vote? If you listened to the show earlier, you fucking idiot. I love how I have somebody on and I disagree with them and suddenly I'm their buddy. These idiots, like you trolls, you're the stupidest motherfuckers I've ever seen. I have openly disagreed with Crenshaw, even on the show. But you say, your buddy. Are you just jealous that you don't know him? Is that what it is? That I actually have a fucking contact in Congress that actually is willing to come on the show and debate with me? Is that what it is? I think you're jealous. You fucking little internet peasants should know your place. your buddy. I've openly said I do not agree with him. What do you want? I'm sorry. You know what, Trevor, whatever the fucking your little loser name is, why don't you come into the Shell Shock IHQ, drop your pants, and I will suck your dick? Is that what you want? Is that what you want me to do? I'm sorry. I thought it was okay to bring in people I disagree with and have a conversation. Oh my God, we're not allowed. Oh no, you shouldn't be talking. Because here's the deal. Here's the one thing you little fucking retards don't understand. You know what he actually has done? He's changed his mind on marijuana. He said, you know what? I'm actually kind of considering being pro marijuana because of the conversations I had with him. Mm-hmm. Now, we can't advance gun stuff. I want to. I've tried. He's not going to listen. But you fucking clowns, you fucking idiots come in here just because I want to sit there and bring somebody on and have a discussion with them that I disagree with. You fucking idiots. I don't even know why you watch me. I don't even know why I even address you. You're not even worth it. You're like the biggest fucking idiots out there. And while I'm at it, hey, kudos. Kudos to everybody that got Uvalde right prior to the actual evidence coming out. Good for you. Good for you. I'm happy for you. Please do me a favor. Show me the place where you purchased your crystal balls at. I really need to see this, please. So that way I can, make the calls before all the facts come out. Every single one of you motherfuckers that wants to sit there on my DMs, on my pages, I told you so, John. You guessed right. You had a 50-50 chance. You did not have all the fucking evidence because none of you even knew about the door actually being open. All of you thought the BORTAC officer ran in there and made breach by himself. Every single one of you were fucking wrong. I will die on this hill. I don't give a fuck what any of you cocksuckers say. Due process comes first. So every single one of you that wants to sit there and condemn prior to an investigation happening, you are no better than the leftist MSM that fucking lies to the people repeatedly. And suddenly when it fits your fucking narrative, oh, we believe the MSM. You fucking hypocrites. At least I'm consistent in my beliefs, and I will fucking die on this hill. And if you don't like it, get the fuck off my show, unfollow me, and go fucking report me to God knows what. You cocksuckers mean fucking nothing to me. You fucking losers. At least I'll give them this. At least you're consistent in your hypocrisy. I'll give you that. So if Uvalde happened again, I will take the same fucking approach that I'll take today. Let the evidence come out, do the investigation, and then make your judgment call. But no, as long as we're mad, as long as these blue checks like Officer Tatum and the rest of them get us fired up because it feels good to demonize and hate on somebody, fuck the facts, fuck all that shit, fuck logical thinking, absolutely not. You fucking hypocrites. Goddamn annoy the shit out of me. You don't deserve me. Fucking internet peasants. I hate them. They're so fucking stupid.
Hey, let's be the party of facts and logic until, I get angry.
The podcast I did originally was based upon the police timeline that the AP reported, you dumb fucks. And then I said in the podcast, if new evidence presents itself, I even posted this in my stories yesterday. If new evidence presents itself, I reserve the right to change my mind. And I did. And Maverick Buckley, holy shit, John, go easy, you lose your audience. I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a shit. That's the difference between me and the Turning Point fucking sellouts. I'll sit here and preach this to an audience of 0 and still stand on my principles. These motherfuckers will bend over and take it up the ass from Trump any chance they get to make money, clout, or run for political office. So if you're too stupid to see that, go follow these fucking losers and see how far they take you. See if they stand for the Constitution and for individual liberty. They don't. They're sellouts. They're Trump fucking loyalists. They're McConnells in drag. I'm really proud of that one. I just thought of that one off the top of my head.
You're on fire, buddy.
Forgive me for having a rational conversation with a sitting congressman. I'm so sorry. My friend, you fucking losers.
Eye patch McCain.
I know. That's great. That's fucking great.
I mean, you don't have to disagree with the guy, but he was wounded in combat.
Well, I don't give a fuck about that. That's not even. McCain. The point was that having him on the show a few times to actually debate him. And didn't I even take questions from the audience?
Yeah, I think
I could have swore I did.
The last one when he came on, he was talking about, Congress, people in Congress being able to, play the stock market and that kind of stuff.
Disagree with him on that. And here's another thing I love about that. And it went
all the way top to the...
It made it all the way to Congress. Yeah. It made it all the way to Pelosi when she's like, you know what, maybe we should... Just because of that interview was picked up by a lot of MSM organizations. It made it up through the halls of fucking Congress. Are you kissing my ass for that? Fuck no, you're not. You just want to sit there and you fucking whiny little bitches. At least I'm out there going at it with these fucking politicians and these elected representatives saying you're wrong on this. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You're in my chat bitching about the fact that I had somebody on that I disagree with. So I guess in your mind, by bringing on somebody that I openly disagree with constitutes being friends with them and I'm going to vote in line with how they think. Are you fucking that retarded? I think you are. I'm sick and tired of you fucking hypocrites. I'm like the one good faith motherfucker out here trying to hold true to his morals and convictions when facing this bullshit. And you motherfuckers are out there just kind of going back and forth on it. You're very selective in what you hear. You're very selective. I like that about your hypocrisy. I'll respect that. This episode is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com.
You guys got to try out these new Delta. But
I'm going to probably take some of that shit tonight. That's for damn sure. Fucking A, you sound like a drill sergeant. Because I was a drill sergeant. That's not even me going full drill sergeant either.
Oh, you should see the full drill sergeant.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful.
It really is. It really is. It's something special.
It's something special that only few get to witness.
I'd love to have that as a ringtone. If I could just like capture it one time.
Fuck. Come here, fucky. All right, that wraps it up for us here. I'm going to go take some blood pressure medicine before you fucking troglodytes get me all fired up again. You bunch of morons. Your friend, I patch McCain. Me. Forgive me for having a debate with somebody I disagree with. I guess we must be boys now. Let me call I'm going to text Crenshaw right after. He's like, hey, what are you wearing?
He seems like a nice guy.
He is a nice dude. He's a little arrogant. I'll give him that. I don't agree with a lot of his policies. He's a very big foreign policy guy. I'm not. But I respect the fact he will actually come on here and have a debate about it. I respect that.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I've reached out to Tulsi Gabbard. She keeps ducking me. I have a lot of people I've reached out to who's like, oh, I'll do it. And they never get back to me because I'm not Fox.
Right.
I'm not right-leaning MSM. They know when they come on here, they're going to be held to task, and they duck me. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Here's what it is. Again, this episode is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com. Don't forget to check out the allamericansavageshow.com. Do you like the show? Of course you do. You're here. Why else would you be here unless you're like a little troll Trevor in the fucking chat? Trevor, shut the fuck up and buy a mug, you douchebag. It's $15. I'm pretty sure you can afford it. Maybe not. I don't know. Check it out. allamericansavageshow.com. You can support the show there. We appreciate your love and support, guys. Again, you can get your podcast stickers, your podcast mugs. There they are right there. It's on fire right now. Limited supply. Once they're gone, they're gone. All right. That's all I got. You got anything, my man?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
I appreciate my core audience that actually is there for me no matter what. I appreciate and love and respect the fuck out of you guys. Everybody else can go suck a dick. Until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, you stay savage, America.